The UK's economy, once a global powerhouse, now faces a myriad of challenges that have left it struggling to regain its former strength. From political instability to rising debt, the factors behind this decline are both complex and deeply intertwined. In this video, we'll break down the top 10 reasons why the UK's economy has stopped working. Before we dive in, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Number 10. The Brexit shock. Brexit remains a defining moment in modern British history, and its economic repercussions are still unfolding. When the UK voted to leave the European Union, it set in motion a complex process that severed its ties with its largest trading partner. Many economists warned of the risks, but the full extent of the fallout only became clear after the UK formally exited the EU. Trade barriers, disruptions in supply chains, and regulatory uncertainty have all contributed to slowing growth. Businesses face higher costs, and UK exports have become less competitive on the global stage. Could the UK have avoided the shock, or was it inevitable after the vote? The long-term impact of Brexit is still being debated, but its role in the UK's economic troubles is undeniable. Number 9. The productivity puzzle. The UK has faced a persistent productivity problem for over a decade, and the issue has only worsened in recent years. Despite being one of the world's largest economies, the country's workers produce less per hour compared to their counterparts in other developed nations. But why has productivity stagnated? Some point to the lack of investment in infrastructure and technology, while others blame poor management practices across industries. Additionally, a failure to adapt to technological advancements and foster innovation has left businesses lagging behind global competitors. Regardless of the cause, this productivity lag is a major reason the UK economy has struggled to grow. Could a shift in strategy reverse this trend, or has the UK entered a long-term period of low productivity that will continue to weigh on its economy? Number 8. The decline of manufacturing. The UK was once the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, with its manufacturing sector driving economic growth for decades. However, over the past few decades, the country has shifted towards a service-based economy, leaving its manufacturing base in decline. Global competition, outsourcing, and automation have all contributed to the shrinking of this once vital sector. The loss of manufacturing jobs has hit certain regions particularly hard, deepening economic inequality between urban and rural areas. This deindustrialization has led to a loss of skilled jobs and a growing reliance on imports. Could a revival of British manufacturing be the key to jumpstarting the economy again, or is this sector a thing of the past? Without a clear strategy for revitalizing this industry, the UK's manufacturing decline may continue to hinder its economic potential. Number 7. Housing crisis and affordability. The housing crisis in the UK is another factor that has put immense pressure on the economy, particularly on younger generations and low-income families. House prices have skyrocketed, especially in major cities like London, making it nearly impossible for first-time buyers to enter the housing market. The lack of affordable housing has driven up rents, leading to a cost of living crisis that leaves many struggling to save. What's behind this housing shortage? Decades of underinvestment in new housing developments, restrictive planning laws, and increased demand have all contributed to the problem. Additionally, foreign investment in property markets has inflated prices, further complicating matters. Could reforms to the housing market alleviate these issues, or is the UK facing an even deeper crisis ahead? The lack of affordable housing remains a significant barrier to economic growth and social mobility. Number 6. Austerity measures. After the 2008 financial crisis, the UK government implemented a series of austerity measures aimed at reducing the national debt and stabilizing the economy. While these cuts were intended to restore fiscal responsibility, they had a devastating effect on public services and infrastructure. With less money being spent on healthcare, education, and transportation, the country's long-term growth prospects began to weaken. Public sector workers faced wage freezes, and many essential services were cut or scaled back, leading to increased inequality and social unrest. Could the UK have taken a different approach, or were these measures necessary to avoid a deeper financial crisis? The austerity debate continues to divide opinion, but there's no denying its role in slowing economic progress and contributing to the current stagnation. The consequences of austerity are still being felt across the country, from underfunded schools to overburdened hospitals. Number 5. A skills gap. A major challenge facing the UK economy is the growing skills gap. As industries become more technologically advanced, the demand for highly skilled workers has increased, but the education and training systems have struggled to keep pace with these changes. Many workers find themselves lacking the necessary skills to compete in today's job market, particularly in high-demand fields like technology and engineering. This mismatch between the skills employers need and the qualifications workers have has created a labor market bottleneck. Moreover, the lack of investment in vocational training and apprenticeships has left a generation of workers unprepared for the jobs of the future. Could an overhaul of the UK's education and vocational training systems provide a solution, or will the country continue to lag behind in preparing its workforce for the future? Addressing the skills gap is critical for fostering innovation and driving long-term economic growth. Number 4. Rising debt levels. The UK has seen a sharp rise in both public and private debt in recent years, exacerbating the country's economic challenges. For individuals, rising debt levels have been driven by stagnant wages, a growing reliance on credit, and a high cost of living. On the government side, the national debt has ballooned due to spending on public services and welfare, as well as the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. But how sustainable is this level of debt? With interest rates on the rise, the cost of servicing debt is becoming more burdensome for both households and the government. Many economists warn that the UK is approaching a tipping point where rising interest rates could make debt repayments unsustainable, potentially leading to a debt crisis. Is the country on the verge of a financial disaster, or can it find a way to manage its growing liabilities? Without a clear strategy for addressing debt, the UK's economic future remains uncertain. Number 3. The COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic dealt a heavy blow to the global economy, and the UK was no exception. The lockdowns, restrictions on business operations, and disruptions to global supply chains brought the economy to a standstill, leading to a deep recession. While the government provided support through furlough schemes and other measures, the long-term effects of the pandemic are still being felt. Many businesses, particularly in retail and hospitality, have struggled to recover, and the country's GDP has not yet returned to pre-pandemic levels. Could the UK have responded differently to the crisis, or was the economic fallout inevitable? Number 2. The energy crisis. The UK is currently facing an energy crisis, with rising costs for consumers and businesses alike. A combination of global supply issues, reduced domestic energy production, and increasing reliance on imports has led to soaring energy prices. This has put further strain on households already struggling with high living costs, and has also affected industries reliant on affordable energy, such as manufacturing and transportation. But what's the root cause of this crisis? Years of underinvestment in renewable energy sources, coupled with geopolitical tensions and reliance on volatile global energy markets, have left the UK vulnerable to energy shocks. Number 1. Political instability. At the top of the list is political instability, which has played a critical role in undermining the UK's economic foundations. The past decade has seen a series of political upheavals, from the Brexit vote to multiple changes in leadership, creating an environment of uncertainty that has eroded confidence in the government's ability to manage the economy. Investors and businesses thrive on stability, and the UK's political landscape has been anything but stable in recent years. This instability has led to delayed decisions on key economic policies, investment hesitancy, and a lack of coherent long-term strategies. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button and subscribe to stay updated with our latest videos.